Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am so freaking excited to bring a specific book review to you all. I think that when I do reviews of singular books, they seem to do really well. So this time I am going to be talking to you about The Mask of Mirrors, which is by M.A. Carrick, I believe. I don't have it up. I don't know where I was looking just then. M.A. Carrick is actually two different authors. I know that one of them is Marie Brennan. The other one, I cannot remember her name and I feel so bad, but they are like two authors writing the book together. I actually have some great news for you all. As of this video coming out, the book actually has been published, at least in the United States. I don't know about elsewhere, yesterday. So if you finish this video and you feel so compelled, you can go and pick up a copy for yourself. I actually have pre-ordered a copy, even though I received the ARC. I also requested it at my library so that I could support it in a few different ways. But let's get talking about this book. So I actually started The Mask of Mirrors a few months ago just because I wanted to get a grasp of what it was about, and so that I could come and talk to you in this first clip about what it is about. And then I had to put it on hold because I had some crazy ambitions for the year of 2020, but I am reading it and I am back. This is time for me to finish it. The Mask of Mirrors is a con story about this girl who used to be in part of this like thieving guild, and she has decided that her and her sister have, for certain reasons, left that guild. You find out in the very beginning, and they have decided to run a long con on this rich family, this nobility family. And they do it by dressing up the main girl, Renata, or Ren, as a noblewoman and pretending that she is like the long lost niece of the main woman of the house. And I'm assuming, they haven't said it in so many words, but I'm assuming they want to take her money. The interesting thing is that we get to see multiple perspectives. So we're not just following Renata and her sister Tess, we are also following the rich woman of the house whose name I can't remember. And her perspective is really cool because we learn right from the beginning that she is dirt poor. She is basically keeping up appearances and trying to keep it together as like a noble house and trying to find any way that she can earn enough money. So when her long lost niece shows up, after she of course proves that it's actually her, she's kind of excited because she's thinking that this might bring some good news to their family. So it's almost like the two of them are conning each other. We also follow a few other bands of characters. There's this almost sleazy man who I really enjoy. He's probably my favorite character, who is helping out Renata. He doesn't know that she's doing a con, but he is helping her do some other interesting things, and it's cool to see how she uses her underground resources that are her and doesn't tell him, and has this way of keeping these secrets from him and using her background in the criminal world, but also like her noble experience. And then we're also following this man who is like a police officer in this land, and he is really good friends with the noble family, and he of course is doing some background checks on Renata. And there's also this character that we do not get to follow called the Rook, who the police officer is trying to investigate and find because he believes that the Rook killed his brother. I want to talk a little bit about the Rook because from the very beginning I've had a sneaky suspicion about who I think the Rook is going to be. As of today, I am at 37% through the book, so I'm somewhere around page 300. I'm like just shy of page 300, right? The book is 700 pages in total, and just had a character think that they figured out who the Rook was, and it was who I thought the Rook was. But now that character is starting to realize for certain reasons that it's not who they thought it was. So I really like how the authors have twisted things and made you think one thing and then turned it around and made you think another thing, and it's just really twisty and turny. It's almost like me as the reader is being conned, and it's really fun. The story itself is really good, and I'm pulled into the world. The world is so beautiful and magical, and it definitely is based on some Italian culture, architecture, and costuming. They wear masks at certain balls. The way they talk to each other, it's definitely based on Italian words and phrases, which is kind of interesting. The main issue I have with the book, and partially why I took like a few months off of reading it, was because it's heavily political, which isn't an issue for me, but there's so many names and they're all kind of introduced, and most of them are side characters and really not important to the main story. And you're sitting here trying to be like, okay, so he's talking with him about her, and then she's talking to her about him, and they're over here, and if I connect this, and it's just too many names. So that would be one thing that I would definitely say could use some work, is just having less names. Also, the book reads really slow. The chapters are about 30 to 50 pages each, which is a lot of pages for a chapter. I like my chapters really short and sweet, but that is a personal preference, so it's nothing that I'm gonna mark against the book. I just feel like when you make really long chapters, it makes your book read slower, and some people like slow books. I don't mind them. I'm loving this one, but if I had my personal preference, I would have chosen it to be quicker. I definitely think that this is a really interesting book because it does talk a little bit about race, but it's really not brought up that much. But it talks a lot about LGBTQ plus relationships and how they are fully accepted in this world, and they are everywhere. Side characters, main characters, everyone. It's just embraced and accepted, and it's kind of a nice break, honestly, from seeing some issues we have out in our world. So far, I would definitely recommend this book. I am planning on trying to finish this up over the next 4 days. So right now it is Thursday, January 14th. I have a good chunk to get through still, but I'm gonna sit and read tonight. I'm gonna sit and read tomorrow, and then Saturday and Sunday, I am just going to knock out whatever is left. I will not be spoiling anything for you in this vlog, but I will be talking about how I'm feeling emotionally, but I won't be telling you what I'm emotionally responding to. It's Sunday. I somehow didn't do any reading for this vlog on Friday or Saturday, but it's Sunday and I've officially been reading for an hour and 15 minutes, which puts me at 55% through the book. So according to my Kindle, I have 4 hours and 30 minutes left, which is kind of a lot for it already being 4 p.m. Yeah, I was really hoping to finish the book today, but I don't see any issue with me finishing it tomorrow because this video is still not coming out until Friday. So there's not that big of a deal if I wait until tomorrow or even Tuesday if I really need to. My goal is to really get as much of it done as I can today. I'd really love to read another 2 to 3 hours of it, but I don't know what the rest of my day is gonna hold. I know I have some reading sprints going on later. Past that, not sure. Let's talk about the book though. I'm loving it. I am so conflicted right now because I keep waffling between a 4.5 and a 5. And I think that if I continue to feel this way the rest of the book, I'm just gonna rate it a 5 because I think it deserves it. I'm loving the twists and turns that I'm being taken on. There was this like obvious character that was supposed to be the Rook through the whole entire first half of the book, and then it gets revealed to us all of a sudden that who you think is suspicious is really suspicious, but then isn't, but then is, but then isn't. And you're kind of taken on this journey of like, wait, so who is it? You grow so attached to these characters and what they're doing, and I love every single one of them. And while there are a lot of side characters that I really can't keep track of, all of our main characters are such wonderful people and such blessings, and I'm loving reading about them. I would 100% recommend that you buy this and check it out. It is definitely an adult fantasy, heavy in the political intrigue, but it has a con job. It has all of this kind of twist and turns that I love. It has this unpredictable plot that is going on, and I'm just really freaking enjoying it. I'm gonna keep reading. I'm gonna leave you all now, and I guess I'll check in if I have anything more to say before the end. If not, I will see you at the end of the book. I am home from work. I have exactly 2 hours left. 2 chapters left in A Mask of Mirrors, which according to my Kindle is about 40 minutes. So I'm going to sit here and read until I finish it, and I'm gonna let you watch that. I finished it. It was totally a 5-star. It was 100% a 5-star read. I'm so glad I was able to finish it this week before the book is published so I can come and talk to you about how much you need to go and buy this book. First off, it is really long, so you need to be able to bundle in and like get ready for an almost 700-page book, and the chapters are long, so it kind of makes the book feel like it's taking even longer to get through, but I absolutely promise that if you can get through that, it is worth it. From page 1, I was invested and I was interested and I was wanting to read more and to keep going. I just kept feeling like I wasn't making any progress until I got to the end, and then it's like, I finished that thing. I absolutely loved the characters. I've told you a little bit about them up until now, and I just think that the authors did a really good job of making them realistic, making them well-rounded, making them strong and diverse, and then also just making their relationships between them make sense and feel real. Like, we don't just have these characters who randomly have a connection with each other and we haven't felt any like build up to that. There was definitely a weird almost incest moment, but it's not technically incest, so technically it's fine. But it was really good to read and really enjoyable. The author surprised me with some of her choices too. Anytime an author is willing to kill off a character and leave them dead, especially one of the main characters, I'm there for it. I'm like, bless, this is what I want. This is realistic. This is what fantasy should have in it. And maybe there was a character who died. Maybe not. I don't know. Well, I know, you don't. The world building was absolutely fantastic. There were these grand balls with these beautiful costumes. Since most of the con job focuses on the main character pretending to be someone else, a lot of the language describes makeup and hair and her dresses, but it's not like super focused on them. We would just have like a paragraph every once in a while in depth describing what she was wearing and what she was looking like. And I really enjoyed that because her dresses were sounding so beautiful and so pretty. My favorite definitely has to be the one where she dressed up as the ocean, which I think was just after the 50% mark. It was really grand to see just all the descriptions in the book and all of the world building and how it all related to the different cultures, because there are lots of different cultures represented in the book, and we get to see how they all vary in religion and death and how their views on politics. It's just, they were lively cultures who actually felt like they were different from each other, and you could see those differences. So it was great. The world just felt so real. One of the main focuses in the book is on this card reading. I think they called it patterns, and it's very similar to what we would call tarot here. And so our main character can read patterns, and it was really interesting to watch her read the different characters' patterns throughout the book and to read her own. And there's actually a link on Orbit's website where you can get your own pattern read, which is really fun. And I got mine read, and it told me I was going to find love in the new year, which seems kind of ridiculous, but maybe it meant I'm going to learn to love myself more in the new year, and then we can agree with it, right? But it was a fun link, and I recommend checking it out. If I can find it again, I will link it down below, but it's been a little bit since they sent that to me. I just freaking loved the book. Once you get past the people and the world building, the logic just made so much sense. For a con job, they really did their research and they really understood all of the twists and turns, and they really thought about how different people's perspectives were going to affect how things would play out. And it was really fun to see characters in the beginning who seemed to have little significance or would have like a little throwaway one-liner, and how that would come back at the end and be like significant. And I really enjoy when authors take the time to really think about that stuff. And then of course there was the twists and the turns about the Rook, one of our main characters who we don't know who he is. And at the very end, in the last chapter, it is revealed. And throughout the whole entire book, you think it's this one person, and then you don't, and then you do, and then you don't, and then you think it's him, and then you think it's this guy over here, but maybe not, but maybe it is him, but maybe it was him still, maybe it's no, okay, now I don't know who it is. Oh, and they revealed who it was right when I had no clue who it was. And it was just a fantastic reveal, and I'm really excited to see where they go in book 2 and how they decide to continue this story, because I'm not totally sure where it's going to be going. I feel like our main con has been accomplished, or has at least happened. Whether or not it was successful, it happened, and I don't know how that's going to continue in book 2, but I could see a few different directions they might choose to go with it. I also think that the ending was really grand, and I feel like I'm a huge person who hates endings of books because they just don't live up to the rest of the story, but this one did it for me. It really had this grandness that built on everything we had previously seen in the book, but also adding in some fresh perspective and just being something big but not too unrealistic, while also tying in a lot of loose ends and bringing everything together, and it was just fantastic. Yeah, I really loved the book. I recommend checking it out. Like I said earlier in this video, this book did come out yesterday in the United States, so as of today you can buy it, and I recommend you do. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Let me know if I've convinced you to buy this book or to read this book, because renting from your library is totally acceptable and a valid way to read books. Thank you for watching. Give it a like. I don't remember how my outro goes, but until next time, I'll talk to you in the comments. Bye.